Hi. So there's this new subreddit I stumbled across called OhNoConsequences, and apparently the posts just talk about people who do dumb things and expect nothing bad's gonna happen, and then they're suddenly surprised when something bad happens. So we're just gonna kind of make fun of some of these posts. I've picked 5 of them. Okay, so the first one is actually a repost from the subreddit Am I the Devil? And this one is talking about how to open my marriage. If I was ever in a relationship and the other person wanted to open it up for some reason, I'm dipping out of there. Like, I'm not even entertaining that whatsoever. You can leave. Okay, so let's start reading. My fundamentalist Christian parents are telling my wife not to reconcile. My wife and I were married for 2 years. During that time, I had to open up our marriage. What does that mean? Anyway, my wife agreed but kept acting jealous. This led me to filing for divorce. Throughout my 6 months separated, I gained a greater appreciation for my lovely wife. Modern day dating is disgusting, even if you date overseas. I'm sorry, I don't know why, I'm just imagining this to be like some really old creepy white guy who's like just trying to get like a really young 20-year-old, and that is just the picture I have in my head, and it's not leaving because that is the type of person this guy is. A lot of them will pretend to like you for money. It's honestly disgusting. I didn't have to worry about that with my wife because she makes around the same as me, slightly more. Last week I realized the love we had is special and decided to attempt reconciliation. She agreed. Unfortunately, my Christian fundamentalist parents are trying to undermine me. They trying to convince her not to go through with it. My parents even told her, we love our son, but he's not a good husband. I expect this from her parents, but my own parents? When I told my parents stop meddling in my relationship, they blocked me. I had a call using no caller ID to speak to my dad, and mom said this is disgusting. He honestly deserves every single thing that's coming to him. Like, there's so many red flags in this post. I was thinking the worst would be they just want to open up the marriage. No, he's a conniving little snake. The fact that he thinks his wife being slightly jealous about him seeing other women in their marriage, which, let me just say, is even crazy in and of itself. The fact that the wife went through with it and let him do that is actually insane. So next top post of the month is called No One Will Let My Mother Park in Their Driveway. I don't know what this could be about, I guess. We'll see. My mother and father are recently approaching retirement, where they want to sell their home and have purchased a fifth wheel to become traveling YouTubers. Interesting. I'm sure I'll be back on the sub in the future as they've determined with nearly zero experience of videography, editing, and personal skills that they can make $50K the first year of YouTubing and have 1 million followers. That's actually insane. Also, $50K combined income is kind of crazy, but you know, that's interesting. Okay, I digress. My mother has begun the tedious and repetitive task of building the itinerary. I love building itineraries too, so I can't even follow her for that. She has been advised to drive no more than 3 hours each travel day by the other YouTubers. She's also convinced that this endeavor is cheaper than living in a paid-for home. When she mentioned to her family that she would be coming to visit them around these dates, she was floored that no one cared about her camping, her channel, and wouldn't allow her to park her massive fifth wheel in front of their homes in suburban neighborhoods. She realizes now that in order to stay there, she'll need to get to campgrounds, which are so expensive. My tongue will literally fall out by the end of the year with how much I've told her off. It's going to be so sweet to hear an "I told you so" in the back of my head every time they face the reality of camping full-time at 65. You know, they're 65. If they have like a nice safety net in terms of money that they built up over the years, like their 401ks and all that, if that's all like settled, then they're 65. Where they lose me is them deciding to sell the house. They have zero experience of videography, editing, and personal skills. I don't know if they have zero experiences with like long road trips or like staying in campgrounds and stuff, but if they do, if they've been on long road trips, like they've consistently done trips like this and they're familiar with this kind of lifestyle, then, you know, sure, give it a try. But I just want to sell the house just yet until until you like try it out for a few months at the very least. That's my opinion. But anyway, the editor or the writer of this says, I think that they'll enjoy the experience of camping in parking lots after living in an exclusive 55+ community for the past 4 years. Also add, I in no way will be disappointed if the YouTube channel takes off. If anything, it's a reflection of the wonderful technology support I've given them over the years. It seemed like just yesterday, because it was, I explained the difference between the App Store and iTunes. Okay, that's a little bit hilarious. But honestly, I think if it did take off, like they would be like that endearing old couple who's like, yeah, we're just trying to see something out and we're, doing something that the youngins do. So, I mean, that's kind of fun. I feel like they could definitely gain a community from that. I also will add, I thought about the suggestion to recommend not selling the house and having a backup plan. My mother assured me that no one rents their homes unfurnished, and she doesn't want anyone touching your stuff. So if she sold most of it already anyway, I didn't realize how exclusive it was to rent in an unfurnished place. Yeah, I still don't like that idea. Like a backup plan would have been very much appreciated in this case. Okay, on the next one. Mom brings a 10-month-old to a rave. What the hell does that mean? Oh my gosh, you're like setting up this literal baby up for like neurocognitive deficits when they're older. Like, that's so funny. If I was a 10-month-old baby and my mom was just taking me to a rave, taking me to the local like raves are us, like I would be kind of pissed when I was older. I would, because I'd be like, wow, I can't hear shit. Mom, like what happened there? Anyway, just as a reminder, if you ever go to a show and see a child or baby there, I don't care how lost you are, have some respect. Oh, okay, this is from the perspective of the mom, I think. That's weird. Okay, last night I went to a Zed's Dead here in Spokane at the Knit, and it was an awful experience. People kept bumping into my 10-month-old son. One guy spilled his drink on me and would not stop bumping me. I got smacked randomly a few times, and the worst part, we got so packed that we were literally unable to move. Yeah, it's almost as if that's like how a rave works. I don't know what you're expecting. Zed's Dead doesn't really seem like the most family-friendly environment in existence. Like that's crazy that you thought like they'd be like, oh, excuse me, I'm just passing through here, sorry. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, okay, I had to yell at everyone as I was shoving my way through the crowd. You're shoving too, you're just as bad, and you're shoving with the baby. You're using the baby as a body shield. What are you doing, woman? Okay, so she's saying, we have a baby, you need to move. And people were very rude about it. It's not that hard to have fun and still be considerate of each other. If I'm going to rave, I want to bash my head in the ground. I want to see circles by the time I'm done partying. I don't want to see your 10-month-old baby there. I'm sorry, Miss Ma'am. You need to take them to the daycare and then continue on with your extracurricular activities. I don't know what you're doing. That's what this community should be about. Not getting so messed up. Literally, that is so common, but whatever. They become completely unaware of yourself and your surroundings. Raving should be a safe and enjoyable environment for anyone. Yeah, 10-month-old babies too. That's why we have, kids just mixing with adults at raves. Like, it's very common because it's a family-friendly, inclusive experience. Not a place where people go to be rude and hurt each other. We're always base fam. I'm assuming that's like a tagline from the band, I don't know. That's how we take care of each other. Update, since comments are turned off, all I have to say is this. When there's no other option as a parent, sometimes you have to bring your kids along. No, the option's staying home and taking care of your kid, you dummy. Like, I don't think this rave was like a life or death situation. If you didn't have any child care options for your 10-month-old child, you should have stayed home like a responsible parent. And if you can't be a responsible parent, you should have used protection. We couldn't find a babysitter last minute. So you have, okay, I was assuming it's a single mother. So there are two people involved in this situation. And none of you decided like, hey, we should probably like look or one of us should probably stay back, or we could probably put our minds together and think of one person to babysit a child. I guess not. Let's see, we couldn't find a babysitter last minute. We had already bought the tickets. If you bring them and they don't like it, then you learn. No, they're not gonna like it. They're gonna have freaking like brain rot. Their brain's gonna be freaking crashing against their soul up and down, like gonna lose all of its fluid. Like, it's not a good idea to bring a baby to a concert. I don't know how, like a rave especially, I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. We went to Big Gigantic when he was 4 months, had him sleep in his backpack, proper ear protection, and he slept the whole time. Yo, somebody to take this kid away from these like monsters. What the hell? You put him just in a backpack? What? 4 months, he brought him to a rave called Big Gigantic Hearing Loss. Okay, the crowd was super kind. Everyone wanted to know about him, and there was room to dance. This just shows that if you do bring a baby to an all ages show, it can work out completely fine. I'm not saying this is something you should do all the time, but I'm saying this as a parent. Sometimes it's just the choice you make, and if you mess up, you learn. Yeah, if your baby gets like permanent brain damage, you just learn from it. Don't do it with the next baby. If you mess up the first one, you could kick it up again. My biggest point of this post was to promote and spreading plur, not creating a toxic environment, especially at an all ages show. Everybody has their opinion, but ultimately it was a trial experience and we learned. That's what it's like as a parent. Apparently it's all ages. I'm gonna take the word for that. I have no idea. Terrible parents all around though. Okay, my stepfather finally got consequences. Ooh. My late mother's boyfriend is, and always has been a creep. He's a kind of person that seems charming on the surface, but there's this vaguely ick feeling that lingers around him, especially for female. Creep thought he was super suave and loved to flirt, aka harass women. He got away with it most of the time because he was supervisor on his job and was buddy-buddy with most of the managers. Not to mention that he lived in a super small town that didn't have many job opportunities. The women were scared to lose one of the few jobs available, so they just smiled awkwardly and took it. Well, Creep messed up. He was having a self-professed bad day at work and went to the break room to cool off. The break room was occupied by 2 very young females. Creep told these girls that they should flash him to make him feel better. Oh my gosh. Does the break room not have security cameras? Because isn't that common at like workplaces? Anyway, Creep did not notice the other man in the room. This man apparently tore into Creep and then immediately reported him to manager. Creep actually got fired on the spot for sexual harassment. Thank God. Okay, that's actually really good. Even with them being buddy-buddy with all the managers and their moms, like at least they have some kind of morals. That's actually really good. And it doesn't end there. Creep went to his second job in an even worse mood. His manager obviously knows and asked what's up. Creep, having absolutely no clue that he was not the wrong party, told his manager that he'd been fired and why. Why did he say why? What? He didn't even say like, oh yeah, I lost my job. No, he said, yeah, I've been fired. I was just fired. As an employer, that would bring up red flags to me. Like, oh, okay. I don't know if like it's typical for employers to know that like their employees have a second job, but oh, you have a second job? And then, oh, you were just fired. For what? Fired, not even let go. Fired. Like, what the hell happened? And then he starts saying like, yeah, I wanted these girls to flash me because I'm a lonely, sad little man. Okay, that's weird. His manager also fired him. I cannot even express how glad I was to hear that his actress finally caught up with him. Not that I'll ever learn. Last I heard, he's still whining that he was just joking and didn't deserve what he got. Oh my gosh, stepfather, that's your stepfather. That's really sad. But yeah, I'm glad that he's gone. He can hurt less people now. And I hope that goes on his permanent record so his next employers see that he is a little bit of a miscreant. Okay, am I the a-hole for giving my ex-girlfriend her ticket for Taylor Swift by canceling everything else? I am so tired of hearing about Taylor Swift, but we move. So this guy says, I'm working overseas right now and I managed to get tickets for Taylor Swift in Singapore. Interesting thing about that, Singapore, okay, I learned this on one of HROC's live streams. I don't know if you guys watch him, but anyway, so there is this theory that I don't know which country thought of it. I think it was Singapore. There was this pattern that Singapore was noticing with other countries that Taylor Swift was visiting for an Eras tour, and they would notice that the GDP of said country would like go up for like quite a bit while she was there. And so Singapore, noticing this, like they thought like, oh, okay, she's like a magic rock. Like the second she comes to our place, we're gonna be economically good for a little bit. Like this is gonna be a nice boost to our economy. We love this. So I managed to get the tickets for Taylor Swift in Singapore. Concert is this coming Saturday. My plan was to fly my girlfriend over for a little vacation. It's a long ways from Connecticut, so she was going to be staying for 10 days. I was clear and I told her that we'd have 2 weekends together as well as the evenings, but I still had to work during the daytime. Last week she called me and said she was not okay with us being long distance, and after that we were over. Oh, okay, so she's trying to like break up with you after you pay for this huge concert for her. Like, okay, yeah, you're gonna do this one last big thing for me. I'm putting in my 2 weeks now, but I still get all the benefits until I actually leave. I asked for clarification. She said that she would come for the 10 days and then we'd have fun, but after that we were done. Is she psycho? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I could have fun without paying for it. I charged her the one ticket and canceled everything else. She called me a scream at me for canceling the flights and hotel. I told her that I wasn't going to discuss it and hung up. I blocked her on everything. You were even too nice giving her the ticket. I would have sold the ticket. The hell? I would have sold the ticket. I don't know how long they were dating. Either this guy's rich or they've been dating for a long time and this is the craziest way to get broken up with for a long-term relationship. But what the hell? Anyway, I'm hearing from people back home that she's lost her absolute shit. She's been bragging about getting to see Taylor Swift in a vacation. Now she's telling everyone that I canceled plans just out of the blue. I guess that's sort of true. I did not discuss it with her before I made my decision and did what I did. I unblocked her long enough to offer to buy the ticket back if she wasn't going to use it. That conversation has been unpleasant and has involved a lot of profanity. The upshot was she would rather let it go to waste than let me have it. Her friends have been defending her and calling me an a-hole. My position is that I would feel like a John flying her over for fun. Yeah, you would be. You'd be the biggest cuck in existence. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm glad that she paid for the ticket and that's why I gave her the ticket back, because otherwise, nah, that ticket would have went to another realm. You're not seeing that ever again. I actually do want to see the comments. Girlfriend's an idiot how she expected this would go. Yeah, I don't know how you expected this to go. If you're gonna be callous, just do it in a correct way. You do it after, not before, you idiot. That's really dumb. That's really, really dumb. But anyway, guys, that is r/OhNoConsequences. That was actually pretty fun. These stories are kind of wild, and I don't know why these people think that consequences just escape them. It looks like they were kind of proved wrong though. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching Reinvent the Ordinary. I will catch you guys another time. Bye!